What's your dance here?
No, this one you gotta have the little...
Welcome back to another episode of Living with the K's.
This is one of my favorite topics today.
Yeah, so today we're talking about rituals.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, you know, everyone has a ritual, whether...
Not the spooky, haunted kind, though.
No. This is going to be our definition of rituals. But it is spooky season right now, so who knows?
Not when people are watching.
So whether it's saying bless you after someone sneezes or entering a home and taking your shoes off, we all have rituals, whether we're thinking about it all the time or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote down the definition of ritual that I liked, and it's something done or performed at specific times that have a deeper meaning than what's intended or suggested by the action itself. So I think our rituals that we've created have been really good in just strengthening our bond, and I feel like we've been really intentional about incorporating these rituals to keep us strong.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think there was a ritual in a relationship. Like, I've heard of rituals when you're building company culture. And I think for me, the idea kind of sprung about for the first time in one of our early therapy sessions.
Yeah.
When our therapist was like, do you guys have any rituals? And I just didn't expect that question.
Yeah.
I know in a company dynamic, you definitely do it to build culture.
Yeah. And then that kind of helped us to create our own family culture.
Mm-hmm. So when I think about like why rituals are important, they're empowering, right? If you think about the cultural, traditional ones that happen, typically you get a boost when you're celebrating or you're engaging in something with other people. Rituals are also helping us to learn. They help us grow, learn. And then I think the most important part is they help us connect.
Yeah.
Right? When we have a shared experience or a shared thing that we're doing, it helps deepen that connection. So I definitely think that rituals are super important and they help make your relationship your relationship.
Yeah, no, I love it. We have so many good ones, and I think they're great conversation starters too. So if you have a ritual and for some reason that ritual may not take place, you know something's wrong. So
Which ritual are you talking about in specific?
So specifically, a ritual, I'm not sure when we started it. It was pretty early on, but we like to brush our teeth together. So whoever's like getting ready for bed first would put the toothpaste on the toothbrush first. So you know that if there's no toothpaste on your toothbrush, like a conversation needs to be had, or that person probably isn't very happy with you at the moment. So yeah, I think that was always a fun one, just because like, I don't know, when you are in a relationship, you like to just do a lot of things together, and brushing our teeth together was something that...
If you're in an empowered relationship, you like to do a lot of things together.
Empowered relationship. But yeah, that I felt like that was something that you'd look forward to doing together at night.
Mm-hmm. I also remember like being caught off guard during the therapy session, but then later on, after spending some time reflecting on it, realizing, oh, we actually do have some rituals that were unique and special to us in just the time that we've been together. And so I really just started to think about those and want to let you share some of the tips and the lessons that you have, and then I'll definitely go through some of the rituals that we've built over time.
Yeah.
Just to give folks an idea, because I remember thinking at the time, like, what ritual am I going to create?
Yeah.
You know, what is it that we could do? And I didn't realize how many that we had already been building over time.
Yeah, definitely. So I think for us, one that comes to mind is family time. I think that's great for just creating shared memories, and it's something that we do regardless of who's around us to make sure that we're setting aside that time just for us. So yeah, every night before we go to bed, like we get together, and it could be just...
Before I go to bed.
Before Kareem goes to bed. We go to bed at very different times, but we'll come together, and it could be just like checking in, having conversations, like how was your week? What's your temperature like? How are you feeling? And like really just doing whatever makes us happy at that moment. It could be cuddling, it could be whatever, but it's making that space for us, especially when you're busy. Like we all have very busy days, busy schedules. So taking that time out.
And we love to entertain. So I think that we used to think, oh, there's people here, so we can't do this. And I think it's been...
And that was like not serving us, because then we're not creating that time for us because we're so focused on making sure everybody else is good.
Yeah, I think it was definitely liberating to start letting people know too, like, hey, this is our ritual.
Yeah.
So you're here, like you're a part of it. Just make believe we disappeared for half an hour, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And we'll be back to normal after.
Yeah. I think another thing that we've started incorporating too, or we incorporated very early on, was the weekly date nights.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, we would kind of stress like, oh, I have to create one this week. You have to create one next week. It was good when, you know, it was the beginning and you had all this time and like wasn't as busy and could think of fun things. And like now our lives are a little bit crazier. So we've gotten help in figuring out, oh, let's do this date night weekly, but it's something we both definitely look forward to.
I also think at least for me, what worked really well, and I'm, you know, sometimes ashamed to admit this, but I have a project management system at work.
Yeah.
And I just set myself a reminder the week before it was my date night, and it became a task. And honestly, having that task forced me to go and do a little bit of research, and it was a lot easier than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
You eventually get your like go-tos and you know what you're going to do, and
Yeah. And
I got into rhythm.
Yeah. And it's a great way to like maintain the romance and passion within your relationship too.
And you're thinking about the other person. I wrote out a few of ours just for inspiration for folks.
Let's hear.
So I know you mentioned family time. That was something that we started maybe in the last year.
Yeah.
But something we also did really early on was we created a shared album.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And we just had that on our iPhone. And now whenever we take like a couple's photo somewhere, it's a ritual almost to plop it in the shared album. And then kind of tied to that is you started building this annual calendar.
Yeah.
And so every year at the end of the year, Cadesia will go and like take photos from that month from the year prior, and we'll turn it into a calendar. And that's become a ritual. We now have like 4 or 5 years of calendars that go back 6 years.
Yeah. And it's something that we can share with like our future family, you know. It's people come over and they're like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. So
great conversation starter. But I feel like that one, I know you mentioned the toothpaste. One of the things we also do is we created our own holiday on Tuesdays.
Oh yeah, we did.
We call it Tuesday Tings, you know, because my wife here is Jamaican, so had to take the H out of it. But it's just a daily, like, or a weekly reminder where we send each other an affirmation, we express gratitude, and I think like creating that holiday that serves no other purpose than like expressing love has also been amazing.
And then that one's even nicer because we could be fighting, we could be angry with each other, but it still allows you that time to reflect and think about all of the good within the relationship, regardless of the space that you're in at that moment.
Yeah, I mean, one of the other things we started doing, and at first I thought it was going to be tacky, but I've actually come to enjoy it, but those annual gifts that come with the year that you've been married.
Oh.
I think 1 year is like paper, and it's like
wood.
Leather, cotton.
Yeah.
We like alternate because we have 2 real anniversaries that we celebrate.
Yeah.
The day we were legally married in court, and then like our wedding anniversary. And so each of us like has one that we own, and that person is sort of getting the gift in line with that. And I think that that's been really special. And then one of my favorites is just alternating like who says good morning or does a good night.
Yeah.
And since I'm a early riser, I do the good morning and I do the good morning kisses.
Yeah.
And Cadesia is the one who's up at night when I'm going to sleep, and so she takes the evening.
Yeah, and it's a great way to wake up. You're just like so happy because you feel all this love.
And it's become a ritual, right? Just something you don't have to really like talk about, but it's in there. So in terms of what I would share for tips, I put 3 down.
Okay.
One is just like pay attention to things that you might already be doing, because I know I remember talking about it and feeling like, oh man, are we not a real couple?
Right.
You know, like we don't have any rituals.
Right.
Is
and
that?
We already had so many, we just didn't think about it.
Yeah, but I appreciated that it was surfaced because it allowed us to be more intentional about them. Right now we have to make sure the calendar gets done because it plays such a special role in our lives.
Right.
So I definitely say that. My second tip would be like, don't rush or force them. Like you don't want to be doing something for the sake of doing it, because I remember having that feeling too, like, oh man, now I have to go and do something different or do something extra.
No, it's natural.
Yeah, and it should be something that you look forward to. It's definitely going to take effort, but it's something that you look forward to. And then I'd say for the last thing, just like talk about them. You know, like have a conversation. And maybe there are rituals or things that you've been doing in your own upbringing, right? At home, or
Yeah.
you've seen your parents do and you really like that and you want to bring that into your relationship.
Or tweak it and make it better.
Make it your own.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely think like I would share those tips
Yeah.
as folks are thinking about rituals.
Yeah. No, I love that.
You have any questions for folks?
I have a few. I'm gonna maybe just one actually. So
Don't overwhelm them.
yeah, I don't want to do too much too quickly. But I'd say go back and think about what are some rituals that you'd like to incorporate in your relationship to maybe strengthen it or, create some more passion and fun. So,
Or just memories, right?
yeah, shared memories.
So I'll just piggyback on that and maybe highlight one of the earlier things I was saying, which is what rituals have you seen around you in your family or your friends or something that someone else is doing that you think could incorporate more life and like meaning and what you have going on. So don't overcomplicate it, but definitely give this a little bit of like thought, because I think this is a significant part of building the culture of your relationship.
And your family.
Yeah, that's all we have for you all today. Have an amazing rest of your day whenever you're watching this.